Welcome to Sidequests, the podcast that explores the strange, surprising, and often forgotten rabbit holes of history. Because sometimes history isn't what happens when people are trying to change the world, it's what happened when the world was making other plans. In the summer of 1835, readers of the New York Sun opened their papers and discovered something extraordinary. Life had been found on the moon. Not just microbes or moss. We're talking crystal forests, blue unicorns, and 4-foot-tall humanoid creatures with bat wings. The source? A reprinted article from a British science journal. The observations? Courtesy of one of the most respected astronomers in the world. It was scientific. It was groundbreaking. It was also completely made up. Today we're diving into one of the greatest media pranks of all time. The Great Moon Hoax. And how one newspaper's celestial tall tale turned into a national sensation. The year is 1835 and America is in the middle of a newspaper boom. Thanks to cheaper printing methods and rising literacy rates, penny papers were everywhere. Cheap, sensational, and fiercely competitive. In New York City, one of the loudest voices was The Sun, a scrappy paper known for attention-grabbing headlines and a willingness to bend the truth in the name of circulation. And like many papers of the time, The Sun knew that science sold papers. Astronomy in particular had captured the public imagination. Comets, eclipses, telescopes. It was the space race 19th century style. So when The Sun began running a series of articles in late August titled Great Astronomical Discoveries Lately Made by Sir John Herschel, readers paid attention. These stories, it claimed, were reprinted from the Edinburgh Journal of Science, a respected British publication. They described how Herschel, one of the most famous astronomers of the era, had built a massive telescope in South Africa capable of peering deep into the lunar surface. What he saw was extraordinary, and more importantly for The Sun, entirely fictional, but that didn't stop the paper from treating it like gospel. No winks, no disclaimers, just pure unfiltered moon madness spread out over 6 beautifully absurd installments. It was the 1830s version of going viral, and for readers hungry for wonder, mystery, and cosmic gossip, it was irresistible. This wasn't just a story about science, it was a story about hope, about proof that we weren't alone in the universe, and that apparently our lunar neighbors had excellent bone structure and wings. For a newspaper editor trying to outsell the competition, it was genius. And for the American public, it was about to get a lot weirder. The first installment of the moon story hit the New York Sun on August 25th, 1835. It was written with a tone of absolute seriousness and scientific authority. It even name-dropped the real-life astronomer Sir John Herschel, who had in fact traveled to South Africa to set up a new observatory. That much was true. The rest, well, not so much. According to The Sun, Herschel had constructed a 24-foot-wide telescope so powerful it could observe individual species on the moon. Through this miraculous instrument, he and his team supposedly discovered crystal-clear lakes and lush forests, strange pyramids and sapphire temples, bipedal beavers that cooked their food, and most famously, the Vespertilio Homo, 4-foot-tall humanoid creatures with wings covered in short copper-colored fur who lived in harmony and worshipped at great lunar cathedrals. Each article became more vivid, more imaginative, and somehow more believable because it was dressed up in the language of scientific discovery. The series ran for 6 days, with each installment fueling the public's obsession. People gathered on street corners to read the updates. Other newspapers reprinted the stories, religious leaders, philosophers, and amateur astronomers all weighed in. And the best part? The Sun never hinted that it was a hoax. They published it as fact. No satire, no footnotes. Just lunar bat people printed in black and white. It was one of the first true cases of fake news going mainstream, not just believed but celebrated. And while some readers were skeptical, many more were enthralled. Because deep down they wanted it to be real. It was beautiful. It was hopeful. It was just strange enough to feel possible in a world still full of mystery. But the lunar honeymoon was about to end. The Moon series was an instant hit. Within days, the Sun's circulation skyrocketed from around 8,000 to over 19,000 copies a day. making it the most widely read newspaper in the world at the time. People were hooked. Clergy referenced the moon creatures in sermons. Science enthusiasts excitedly discussed lunar evolution. Some readers even tried writing letters to the Bat People, just in case they were listening. Other newspapers, eager not to be left behind, reprinted the articles as straight news. A few skeptics raised eyebrows, but not many. After all, this was science. It had footnotes. It mentioned real people. But there was one small problem. The Edinburgh Journal of Science didn't exist anymore. It had shut down years before. Eventually, readers began to connect the dots. Astronomers who actually knew Sir John Herschel pointed out that he'd never published any such findings. And when Herschel himself, completely unaware of the hoax, got wind of it, he reportedly laughed. He wasn't angry. He was actually impressed at the level of imagination and detail. The mastermind behind the hoax, a reporter named Richard Adams Locke. He eventually admitted authorship, claiming the series was meant as satire, an exaggerated parody of religious and pseudoscientific writing. But the Sun? They never issued a formal retraction. Because why would they? It had made them famous, rich, and widely read. And in a strange way, the hoax worked. It got people reading. It made science feel magical. And it showed, long before clickbait headlines and viral hoaxes, how easy it is to believe a beautiful lie, especially when it's printed with authority. In the end, no one went to jail. No reputations were ruined. And the moon, as far as we know, remains bat-free. The Great Moon Hoax was many things. Funny, clever, ridiculous. But it was also one of history's earliest lessons in media literacy. It showed that when a story's dressed up in the right credentials and printed in just the right typeface, even the most fantastical fiction can start to sound like truth. And maybe that's why it worked. Because for 6 glorious days, the moon wasn't cold and empty. It was alive. With sapphire temples, moral bat people, and a strangely progressive lunar society. And sometimes believing the unbelievable is its own kind of escape. Cue theme music fade in. That's it for today's side quest. If you enjoyed the detour, subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend who loves history's odd corners. This has been Side Quests, because history is what happens when the world is making other plans.